Does your child have a 4.0 GPA, a 1550 SAT, maybe even higher than that? They're top of their class and they're taking every AP course available. Here's what that means in 2025. Your child is one of 54,000 applicants Harvard reviewed this year, one of 48,000 the Stanford looked at, and one of tens of thousands of students with nearly identical perfect credentials. And they're competing for maybe around 2,000 spots. 3 months ago, a student came to me after his application cycle ended. 1580 SAT, 4.9 weighted GPA, school valedictorian, and winner of multiple international science competitions. 20 applications, 20 rejections. His parents had done everything they thought was right. Invested in test prep, paid for summer programs, pushed for perfect grades. And he delivered on all of it. But it wasn't enough, because they were optimizing for the wrong things. If you're watching this video, you care deeply about your child's future. And what I'm about to share in the next couple of minutes might fundamentally change how you approach your college applications, because the game has changed. And most parents don't realize it until the rejection letters arrive. My name is Muti. I got into NYU and Dartmouth on full scholarships. And over the past few years, I've helped dozens of students do the same, get into their dream schools, and many with significant financial aid. But what qualifies me to talk about this isn't just where I got in. It's what I learned by going through this process myself and then helping students navigate it from the inside. I've worked with students who had perfect stats and got rejected everywhere, and I worked with students who had a 2.3 GPA and got into their dream school with $75,000 in scholarship money. The difference between these outcomes isn't random. It's not luck, and while connections help, it's not primarily about that either. The difference is understanding what elite universities actually evaluate when 40,000 applicants all have perfect grades. And here's what I discovered. Most parents, even very educated parents who went to top schools themselves, are preparing their child for the college admissions of 2005, not 2025. The game has fundamentally changed. So let me show you exactly what I mean. That valedictorian I mentioned earlier, the one with the 1580 SAT, let me tell you what happened. He needed a full scholarship to attend college. When he got rejected from all 20 schools, he had to take a gap year. His family was extremely devastated. And when he came to me, I asked to see his application materials, specifically his essays. And within 5 minutes, I found the problem. His opening line read, "Ever since I was young, I've been fascinated by the intersection of technology and innovation." Now, if you're a parent, that probably sounds fine, maybe even good. It's grammatically correct, it mentions passion and excellence. It sounds like what a college essay should be. But here's what you need to understand. Approximately 40,000 students applied to engineering programs at top schools this year. And I would estimate that 35,000 of them wrote some version of that exact same sentence. This student's grades were perfect. His SAT was in the 99th percentile. His activities were genuinely impressive. International competitions, research experience, leadership positions. But his application was invisible. It told admissions officers nothing about who he actually was as a person. And when you're one of 50,000 applicants, being invisible is the same as being rejected. Stanford's admission office published data showing they reject over 70% of valedictorians who apply. Harvard rejects thousands of students with perfect test scores every single year. So if you're thinking, my child just needs to get a higher SAT score, or we need to add one more AP class, you're solving the wrong problem. Stats are the baseline. They're like the entry ticket, but they're not what gets students accepted. Now, let me show you the other side. Last year, a student named Hoor came to me from Qatar. International applicant, which is already incredibly competitive. 2.3 cumulative GPA, no SAT scores, no significant ECs, no awards or honors to speak of. On paper, she had essentially no chance at competitive US college. Her parents had basically given up on the idea. This was, in their words, a last attempt before she abandoned the dream entirely. We worked together for 4 months, and here's what's important. We didn't spend that time on test prep. We didn't try to manufacture last-minute activities to pad her resume. We spent 4 months having conversations, deep conversations about her life, her experience growing up between two cultures, her relationship with her family, and what that revealed about her values, her struggles with identity and faith, the moments of vulnerability she'd never shared with anyone. And from those conversations, from really understanding who she was, we built an application that told a story no other applicant could tell. Who got into Mount Holyoke College, early decision one, with $75,000 in financial aid, a 2.3 GPA student competing against applicants with perfect scores. Now, I'm not saying grades don't matter. They do. But what this demonstrates is that elite universities are evaluating something way beyond your transcript. Let me break down what's actually happening in the admissions process, because this is the framework that most families completely miss. When admissions officers read an application, and I learned this both through my own process and working directly with students, they're trying to answer 3 specific questions. 1. Who is this person beyond their academic performance? 2. What unique perspective will they bring to our campus community? And 3. what impact they will make after they graduate. Your child's 4.0 GPA answers none of those questions. Their 1550 SAT tells the admission committee nothing. And this is why perfect students get rejected. Not because they're not smart enough or hardworking enough, but because their applications don't answer these questions entirely. Here's what I see happen over and over. I have a Valedictorian with the 1580 SAT. His family spent thousands of dollars on SAT tuition, more thousands on AP exam prep, paid for summer programs at prestigious universities. But not a single person, not his school counselor, not his tutors, and not the summer program advisors, sat down with him to understand who he actually was. What drove him? What made him different from the other 40,000 engineering applicants? And this pattern repeats itself thousands of times every year. Families invest enormous amounts of money and energy into the wrong things. So let me show you something way more concrete. These are two real applications from students applying to Northwestern. Both apply to the engineering program. Student A, 1520 SAT, 4.7 weighted GPA, president of 3 clubs, varsity athlete, but got rejected. And student B, 1450 SAT, 3.9 weighted GPA, and 1 significant EC focus. He got accepted. So you might ask, what made the difference? Student B's essay reveals something way more authentic about their character. We spent 6 weeks exploring their relationship with their immigrant grandmother and what it taught them about resilience and adaptation. And student A, he wrote about leadership has taught me valuable lessons about teamwork and communication. That exact sentiment appeared in roughly 5,000 other essays that year. So here's the reality. The traditional college counseling model doesn't work for elite admissions anymore. High school counselors manage 400 students and meet with each one maybe twice a year. SAT tutors optimize for scores, not for authentic presentation. And most college prep services focus on resume building rather than genuine self-discovery. Getting your child into an elite university in 2025 requires someone to invest real time in understanding who they are, to ask uncomfortable questions about their fears, their values, their actual experiences, to help them articulate their authentic story in a way that distinguishes them from 50,000 other perfect applicants. This student, after getting rejected everywhere, worked with me for 6 months. We didn't change his activities, we didn't take any tests, we completely rebuilt how he presented himself by finally figuring out who he actually was beneath the achievements. He's now at NYU on a full scholarship, studying exactly what he wanted to study, same stats as before, same activities as before, and completely different outcome. So let me be very direct about what's at stake here. Your child is competing in the most selective college admissions environment in human history. Harvard has a 3.2% acceptance rate. Stanford has a 3.7%. MIT 4%. Yale 4.5%. These numbers have been cut in half over the past decade. But here's what those percentages don't show you. These schools reject thousands of valedictorians every single year. Stanford alone rejects more than 70% of applicants who are ranked first in their class. So what does getting into a top school actually mean for your child's trajectory? Let me give you the concrete data. Students who attend elite universities are 3 times more likely to be admitted to top graduate programs. They have direct access to networks that lead to opportunities at major companies, prestigious firms, and influential organizations. And more importantly, and this is what actually matters for your child's development, they're surrounded by peers and professors who challenge them to become the best version of themselves. The quality of education, the resources available, the mentorship opportunities. These factors compound over their entire career. But here's the truth that's difficult to hear. If your child submits a generic application that looks like every other perfect applicant, they are not getting in. And you're watching their potential slip away because nobody took the time to help them stand out in a meaningful way. The application deadlines don't care when you figure this out. The admissions committee won't give your child a second chance. And once those decisions are made, that opportunity is gone. So what's the path forward? If you're serious about maximizing your child's chances at elite schools, here's what needs to happen. I've developed what I call the Ivy narrative method. It's the same system I used to get into Dartmouth and NYU on full rides, and it's what I use with every student I work with now. First phase, narrative engineering. We spend weeks having deep conversation to uncover your child's authentic story. Not the story they think colleges want to hear, the story that's actually true and actually compelling. This is where most applications fail. Second, strategic positioning. We identify competitions, research opportunities, and experiences that align with who your child actually is. Not resume padding, genuine opportunities that strengthen their narrative. Third, insider access. I connect students with mentors who are currently at or recently graduated from elite schools. Real conversation with real students who understand what it actually takes. And fourth, application assembly. We craft every piece, essays, activity descriptions, supplements with surgical precision based on what actually works at top schools. This isn't about shortcuts or gaming the system. It's about helping your child present their authentic self in the most compelling way possible. The students I work with who follow this framework, who invest the time in genuine self-discovery and strategic positioning, they consistently get results. Not because I'm doing the work for them, but because we're doing it together in a way that actually works. Look, I know this has been a lot of information, and some of it probably wasn't what you expected to hear. The idea that your child's perfect grades might not be enough, that can be unsettling. But I'd rather you understand this reality now than discover it when the rejection letters arrive in April. Your child has genuine potential. The question is whether someone's going to help them present the potential in a way that elite universities cannot ignore. If this resonates with you and you want to explore working together, I put a link in the description below to book a call with us. No pressure, it's just a conversation to see if the Ivy narrative method might be a good fit for your child's situation.